from patriots. And the people have signs here saying only criminals in government want an unarmed public. And it goes on to say that demonstrators rally outside New York against new gun laws, which would actually have banned many guns, and they actually did. They're arresting people for over 7-round mags. Now, they go on in the article to say there is no gun control, no one's coming for your guns, and they say that it's outlandish one-world government conspiracy theories. And it says, what can be done to reverse the tide of belligerent ignorance? Not much. And they go on to say, all we can do is go after the terrorist. We've done nothing. It's clear they're getting ready to frame us. They won't say who even wrote this piece, probably the Southern Poverty Law Center. It doesn't even say who wrote it. And it quotes the Southern Poverty Law Center that is a Justice Department organ. They're a spokesman, so they can say things that government can't. They're a mouthpiece, a shill, a surrogate, on record. And it goes on. Now here's the key. I'm only reading part of this because of time. It says, listen to this. There are increasingly frightening numbers, cells, meaning terrorists, of angry men in the United States preparing to combat with the U.S. government. They are usually heavily armed, blinded by a intractable hatred. No, our eyes are wide open. Yours are wide shut. Often motivated by religious zeal. They are not jihadists. They are white, right-wing Americans, nearly all with an obsessive attachment to guns, who may represent a greater danger to our lives of American civilians than international terrorists. So see, this is the main lining of all of this. And they're basically saying prepare for war. Now, they're also coming out saying there aren't 2,700 armored vehicles that they just ordered, on top of 10,000 last year. There aren't 2 billion rounds. They actually say that's a lie. Even though it's in Forbes and AP, it's true. In hundreds of other papers, they're saying, see, this is military, when they're just denying everything. That's a military tactic. We're going to premiere Battle for the Republic here on the news in just a moment. You have to understand, this is just a snapshot. Now, let me move to this next article. This is Kurt Nemo's breakdown of this. LA Times announces white men are the terrorist. Very important that you get this article from Infowars.com. And it also breaks down the fact that we predicted this many, 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 many times, as we showed you on screen from Infowars.com. Now, here's what Aaron Dykes covered earlier. This is all over the country they're doing this, where heterosexual college students are told something's wrong with them. See, it's not about unity and equality. It's about groups that government has as their clients declaring all of us the political food. Because in an authoritarian system, you've got to have somebody that's the bad guy to roll out the draconian attacks. In Germany, it was the Jews, Seventh-day Adventists, people like that. With the communists, it was anybody that had, 2 pennies to rub together or a, pot to piss in. China, it was anybody that had any money. Now they're saying whites are the terrorists. Now, of course, there's tens of millions of blacks, Hispanics, you name it, that love liberty, love guns. All the black sheriffs you've seen out there defending the same amendment. They don't want that. They don't want people going, hey, we're unified by a culture of liberty and freedom. They are scared to death of that, and they're using a communist model. They're not really communist, but they're using the communist playbook that they've used in countries and regions to play groups off against each other. The communists would come in and get a bunch of minorities that together were the majority to ally with the state and go after the group they wanted to persecute. The UN did that in Rwanda, having one group go after the minority Christians, the Tutsis with the Hutus. This is the divide and conquer game. The globalists hate everybody. They're eugenicists. And they're trying to cause a revolution and a civil war. And if they don't succeed, the globalists are all in Europe and offshore. The imploding economy, they'll still come in and buy it up for cheap. But if they succeed, they can use the Army manuals and training for gun confiscation, re-education centers. Just if you're a new viewer, type in Army manual, civilian inmate labor camp. Boom, army.mil. Army manual on gun confiscation, army.mil. It'll be the first link. Military trains to take on militias. Military trains to take on Tea Party. Tea Party to merge with Al-Qaeda. They have all these made-for-TV shows about this, like Founding Fathers, where, oh, that patriot says they're pro-gun. That guy named Jones or Johnson, they're really Al-Qaeda. So they're also pushing that. It's not racist to own guns. Has no basis in reality to say that. But they don't care. They push it. There's no Tea Party people with al-Qaeda. It's our government running al-Qaeda in Libya and Syria, and the president of Afghanistan has come out and said that recently. But they're saying we're with them. You see, because we're the people that know what's going on. And I'm talking to the new viewers out there who will read the spam bots on YouTube, you know, after this airs on the nightly news, who are just regurgitating. It's admitted they have government corporate bots that just spam, oh, this is entertainment, oh, this isn't real, oh, Alex is racist, or Alex isn't racist enough, or Alex is anti-white. And it's come out in the news, 70+% of Obama's Twitters are fake. It's come out in the news, it's all fake, folks. And the Republicans won't save you either. That's the point, is they give you nowhere to run. And now as you say, well, I'll get storable food, I'll get guns, because the government's buying food and buying weapons and tanks. Any fool would know you better get ready and get prepared. So now in Wisconsin, the VISTA program encourages volunteers to overcome white privilege by wearing a white armband to show that it's basically bad and evil to be white. I mean, folks, this is pure authoritarianism, and saying to whites under peer pressure, you will submit to a communist socialist agenda on the grassroots, with fascism extracting it to offshore combines that are tax exempt, like GE and others. GE made $108 billion last year, paid no taxes. Look it up. But they lobby to have middle class taxes raised, telling the poor somebody making $125,000 a year is rich. They don't want a middle class. So they oversimplify the middle class as white, as terrorist, as the devil. I mean, you're seeing history happen here, and this is the most wild, fake government game plan I've ever seen, but it's targeting a TV-watching, dumbed-down, out-of-reality culture. I had a guest on from the Veritas Project today who's lived in New Jersey his whole life, and he talked about it. Most New Jerseyans see a cop with a gun, they feel good. They see a gun in a citizen's hand, or they freak out in fear. And so it is a civil war. I'm going to show a document cam shot of this, where some states get liberty and get basic freedom, like Texas and others. But others, like New York, have absolutely no connection to reality. Or there's a minority of people who are black, white, Hispanic, you name it, that get liberty, but it doesn't matter, because if you say you're pro-gun, you're shouted down as a racist. You're like, what does that have to do with race? It is pure psychological warfare. Why the tyrants want your guns. And the new March issue, Civil War II, inside the mind of the establishment. That's why the March issue is so important. It goes over their entire plan to create a new civil war and make it a race war. And that's what government's doing. Now, these exhibits I'm showing you are just from the last few days. Let me show you this in conclusion before we premiere. And again, I say premiere because this has been lost. It's been in the back of a film as an extra for 6.5 years. Endgame that came out in, what, 2006. And it's never aired on the nightly news or the radio show. And it's very important. Battle for the Republic. Look at this article. City billboard urges Hispanics to revolt. Imagine if cities put up billboards calling for Anglos to rise up. And it's on Highway 183 near North Lamar Boulevard in Austin, Texas. It shows Mexico, and we'll show you a blow-up of that right now. It shows Mexico in the heart. It's the Texas-Mexico border, and it's people with flags rising up, and it says, my people, rise up, my people. And we've got great Spanish speakers, here in this office who are Mexican-Americans. They want to just be called Americans. They want the Bill of Rights Constitution. And they said, well, in this context in Spanish, that means basically rise up, riot. Well, Arriba means rise up, my people. So this is just incredible. And we've got the larger res photos up at Infowars.com. And it's paid for through a city-sponsored, paid-for taxpayer art group. And when you see from 6.5 years ago, from the extra of my film Endgame, Battle for the Republic, one of the extras, notice that I've got radio stations, TV station billboards saying La Infosora, the invasion, La Reconquista, the reconquering, showing white people with their heads cut off. This is how it's advertised. And white guys, in one case, who owns the big chain, that's what he runs to get the viewers. We're going to get the gringo. We're taking over. Ah, ha, ha. The New World Order is getting us all. And this is how they've set it up. Tribal politics is powerful. But while they got their gun control in, while they got their socialism in, while they got their indoctrination in, they spoke to the higher angels, the better angels of whites. It was whites that ended slavery. It was going on all over the world. It was Christians that ended it. But they only talk about America and its history to demonize it, to create a guilt, not to create liberty, but to sell the entire tyranny agenda. This is what the globalists are doing. This is their plan. This is their program. And I'm begging you to understand that just like a prison where they segregate people in the white gangs, the Hispanic gangs, the black gangs, and the Asian gangs, if it's on the West or East Coast, they're the big Asian gangs. And that's how they want it. And that's how they want society. Because you're thinking about all the racial groups fighting with each other. What about the globalists that want to be the referees? What about the globalists? What about the prison guards, the prison? That's what America's becoming, a prison country, a prison planet. So I give you the short film that's got some incredibly graphic footage on it of police beating whites who dared protest against illegals calling for amnesty, and the illegals celebrating. And it's going to be the government with the illegals who are going to come for the guns and everything else, and they are going to sell it in a race-based system, and they'll end up enslaving everybody in the final equation. And it's going to cause a civil war, and that is the plan. And I've talked to a lot of other experts. I'm probably the leading expert on this. I've been predicting it for a decade. It's here. And this is the plan. So you've been warned. This is real, and the system's getting ready to stage terror attacks. They've got the TV shows about how white terrorists are going to blow up everything, and then now they're saying it's really going to happen. They've got it all primed for the TV heads to really think it's real, and then say, see, gun owners did Sandy Hook. You're all guilty. Oh, see, whites blew up, the new attack that's coming. And remember, I told you about 9/11 before it happened, a lot more. I'm the expert on government-sponsored terror. I want to encourage you to become an expert on it. Operation Ajax, Operation Gladio, Gulf of Tonkin, Operation Northwoods. Write these terms down. You don't have to believe me, folks, because this is all happening, and they're going to carry it out if they think they can get away with it. Okay, we'll go ahead now and play Battle for the Republic. Please, TV viewers, PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, get this out to everyone you know. If you are a subscriber to Infowars Nightly News on PrisonPlanet.tv, it's 11 memberships for $5.95 a month. That's less than 55 cents per person. Go get a membership if you're watching this later on YouTube. Or share your membership with people. 11 people can log in simultaneously. Become a PrisonPlanet.tv member. Help get this information out if you believe in it. All right, let's go ahead and go to Battle for the Republic. Estelin then told us about the Bilderberg Group's concern that the American people are awakening to their attempt to use the third world populations as a battering ram to accelerate North American integration and the end of the United States.
One of the things that happened last year, there was a lot of talk about the Patriot movement in America. They're very worried about the Patriot movement in America in 2005. That's one of the subjects they were discussing. We saw last year how a very small but very determined population base could put an end, literally stop dead in their tracks all the illegal immigrants coming through. They did not make the Bilderbergs very, very happy.
America is being sacrificed on the altar of globalism. The United States must fall before the New World Order can rise.
This used to be Mexico, you know what I mean? And the people that were here before, they're just not gonna get up and leave.
Mexico! 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 Arriba Mexico!
The globalists are using a divide and conquer strategy to balkanize the United States.